Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. You're here today on the Grand Slam show with Bradley and Chris. How's it going today, Chris? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing well. This is our first live stream, so it's pretty exciting. Uh, got a lot of things to go over. There's a lot happening in baseball right now. There's a lot of people showing out, playing good. A lot of unexpected teams playing good. So we have a lot to cover in this first episode. Chris, you excited for it? I mean, it seems like we put together a lot of work trying to get here, and here we are.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of things happening around the league. There's a lot of unusual uh stuff that we have been seeing that we haven't seen, you know, from teams like the Pirates, you know, the
Arizona,
Angels,
Baltimore,
yeah,
Angels, yeah,
Arizona, yeah.
yeah,
So some of those teams are, you know, it's all depending on the division that they're in, but some of them are playing better than others. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
for sure. And some guys are playing good that we didn't think, or that you assume they haven't been good in some time, so you assume maybe they weren't going to be good this year, but they're playing
Yeah,
good. Um,
yeah.
but before we jump into that, I guess this is our first episode. We need to formally introduce ourselves. Probably should start with. I'm Bradley. I'll be one of your hosts. Uh, I grew up playing baseball. I like playing the game. Favorite team is Atlanta. Uh, but here recently, I've got to where I like players, where I'm following. I'm always going to root for Atlanta, but now I'll watch other teams and things just to watch players and follow young, exciting players in the future of the game. So that's a little bit about me, and and why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for a hobby. I enjoy baseball and I like talking sports.
Uh, yeah. I'm Chris. I'm pretty much about the same thing. I like the game. I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy watching it. Um, I'm originally from the Dominican Republic, as you can tell from my accent. Um, and particularly, I don't have any favorite team. I kind of,
Come on
I'm
now, Chris. There's
I'm all
there's
about the
one that
players.
sticks out there. They might be a little west,
San
close to the
Diego,
Pacific, maybe south. Yeah, southwest. Yeah, yeah.
just a little bit,
I mean,
favoritism. That's all.
yeah, yeah. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry, I just had to put it out there.
No, you're good, but yeah, that's pretty much about it. Like you said, we're basically doing this as a hobby, just to talk about the game, talk about what's going on around the league, and give you guys our unwanted opinions about situations and things going on in the league in and outside of it.
Yeah, and we're gonna try to do our best to do a weekly format. Some of that involves stats and how teams are playing, who's hot, um, and things like that. So, and as we go along, we'll try to hone in on a good format and a good way to present it each week to you.
Yeah,
Our streams are going to be every Friday at 2:30, uh, somewhere around 2:30. We're also going to try to do YouTube videos, see if we can in between streams or like do a YouTube video a month over maybe a big topic or something like that, or a player that's or anything that's going on. So,
keep
um,
keep you guys entertained and have something to look forward to other than
yeah,
the streaming.
right, right. But as far as the stream goes, we'll be here. It'll be Fridays 2:30, give or take. Um, but I guess let's go right on into the first topic. The first topic is going to be um, last 7 day hitters and who's on top of there. Um, so Ryan McMahon is number one. He's hitting a 482. He's hitting 480. Yeah, he's hitting 482 with a 548 OBP. That's pretty good. Two is Willie Castro, 450 average, 478 OBP. And my man J Rod, 385 average, 385 OBP or O on base percentage. Four is Aaron Judge, 364, 462, and five is Freddie Freeman. He's hitting a 520 with a 586. Now, why he's not number one, I have no idea. Because both of those stats are better. He should. I mean, it's Freddie though.
It's
That's what he does, man.
probably because of the power number. I mean, the guy's getting on base a lot, but you know, eh,
Yeah, yeah.
if you look at the number, he has only hit one home runs and drove in four RBIs along with that. But yet again, he's getting on base and he's putting the ball in the bat. So
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough out, and
right,
he's
that's
never really been known for power too much. I mean, he hits 20, 25 home runs a year.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just a little it's above average.
Yeah, I would say but you got Judge hitting 60, so that's a big difference.
Yeah, yeah, that's for
So
sure.
um, it's three times the amount, but I mean 20's pretty good. But I mean Freddie don't need the home run to make. He doesn't need that power to make him any less Hall of Fame or
No,
MVP or anything. I mean that dude is solid.
he he pretty much right now got his Hall of Fame secure.
I mean you think he'll be a first ballot unanimous?
Yeah, without a
Yeah,
doubt. Yeah,
he should be.
100%. Yep.
And I'm not saying that because I'm a Braves fan. I mean he's with LA, but I mean if you just look at his numbers and his output and his performance, is what it is. Dude can play.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Um, Aaron Judge is coming up, so that's give him a little time. I guess he just got back off an injury. I was worried about him because he wasn't doing well, but he had a
No,
good week.
but if you look at, I saw a comparison about him between the same amount of game last year and the same amount of game this year that he hit his 62 home runs.
Hmm.
He has the same numbers, pretty much the same numbers, same home runs, about the same RBIs, hitting a little better. So, who's to say that he's not gonna have the same, somewhat the same season? Probably hit 50, maybe 60 home runs again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you think he's a first rounder unanimous too, or what? Or do you think there's a sustain issue there? I
I
mean,
think
he's
there's this.
sustaining it, but go ahead.
I don't think he could be, because the only issue that I have with him is the age, because
Yeah,
he's what, 30,
I thought he was 30, but he's 31.
31. So
Yeah, because he didn't hit the league. If you remember, he didn't hit the league till he was like
26 or
late 20, 26 or 27. Yeah,
yeah. So and that's kind of the only issue I have with him, as far as like him being you know a Hall of Famer. Now
as in
I'm not saying he's not capable, but I think he will have to put the same numbers, or not saying that he has to put the same number that he did last year, but have a good season where he hits 25 plus
yeah,
home run the next 5 6 years. Then he can probably make a case for it for sure.
right. Yeah, yeah, I could see that. Uh, three you got my man J Rod Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
he's finally turning around. He had a pretty slow season,
yeah.
and we got some interesting news about him actually.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll cover him a little bit more later on. He may or may not have a section.
Yes.
And then old Willie Castro from Minnesota. I don't know much about him really, but he's hitting well last 7 days. So
Yeah, I know he's a utility player. He used to be with the Tigers for a little bit. He had a few decent seasons, but he kind of fell off a little bit, or it's been a minute. And he seems like he's been having a pretty good week too. You know.
Yeah, and you look at his roster; he's only rostered 22% of the time. So
Yeah,
like you said, utility. You probably don't. He's not an everyday player.
yeah, yeah.
So and then
So
leading off,
he's enjoying
go ahead.
his time in.
Yeah, looks like he plays everywhere but first base and
Yeah,
catcher and pitcher. So that's just about as utility as you can get. Throw him
yes.
anywhere other than first. If he plays all them, I'm sure he can play first.
Oh,
Minnesota
I'm
may
sure. I
not
mean,
just need a first baseman. Yeah,
I don't see
he
why.
reminds me of old. What was his name? Anyways, moving on. Ryan McMahon from Colorado, second, third baseman. He's rostered 49% of the time. He's hitting it well this week. Tw-
Yeah, he's
uh,
doing pretty good.
four
You
homers.
know, he
Four homers.
yeah, that's pretty good. Along with
Yep.
11 RBIs for 1 week. You know, let's just say he's having a pretty good week. So
Yeah,
he's probably eating steak dinner every night.
I'm sure he is.
But
And then
yeah,
you,
he used to put up some pretty good numbers, but the last few seasons he's kind of being, falling off. So hopefully he can start picking it back up again and do pretty good because the Rockets really do need some pretty good productions.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you think they'll make a run for it
No,
at the
there's no
end?
way.
No, they're not even
Nah,
close.
no,
Well,
they don't have a chance.
yeah, they don't look close. They're not even close in the wild card. Dead last.
No, nope.
Cincinnati's got a better shot than they do.
Yes, yes, 100%. I think if Cincinnati makes some moves, I think they
Yeah, there's
because
one move they need to
CC.
make.
Well, there's a couple, but yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, they're gonna be young. They're gonna be pretty exciting to watch. So they're gonna be a really good team. They got a pretty bright future ahead of them. So
All right, well, let's get into the pitching a little bit. Marcus Stroman rounds out the top spot. 23 innings pitched, 15 Ks, 3 wins, 117 ERA, .57 WHIP.
how about
Pretty
the
good.
3 run? How about the 3 runs only allowing 23 innings?
Yeah, it's pretty strong. So
Yeah,
that's a 117 ERA. It's pretty good. It's almost sub
yeah.
one.
He's having a pretty he's having a pretty good season.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Well, another one. The Cubs are another one to look out for. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
yeah.
I'm
I
not
think if
saying they will, but
I think if Dansby Swanson can play a little bit better, because I'm sure they were probably expecting a little more than what they're getting from him as far as production side, and they can get Bellinger back, and he's the
yeah.
Bellinger that you know he was before he just hit the IL.
Right.
I think they can have a pretty solid team because what's his name, Way Miley, he's pitching pretty good for them. And like you've seen, Stroman is doing pretty good for them, and they got some decent pitching. Their pitching are okay. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Dansby, coming from a Braves fan, Dansby's just streaky. He'll pick it up. That's a guy you really got to watch the year long average because
yeah,
he may have a
yeah.
couple good months, and you know, you know how it is.
So everything's gonna be down to what his numbers gonna look like by the end of the season. As far as
Yeah.
production side.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think the Cubs are pretty interesting. I think they have a couple young guys you know that are pretty good. That you know they're definitely gonna make the
Right.
team. better.
Mhm.
Like Pete Chrome Armstrong. He's one of those guys that he can hit for power, he can hit for average, he can feel. You know, he's
Yeah,
he's the complete package for them. I think they
five
just
tool as they call it.
yeah. I just think
Yeah,
it's the only thing about him, is that they don't have the space for him right now. You know, Bellinger doing good, which is
right.
they're only he's only with them for 1 year deal. So
Yeah,
if he keeps doing well and he wants, the Cubs decided they want to keep him, why not?
right. All right. Next, we got Kyle Gibson, Baltimore, 19.2 pitched, 11 Ks, 3 wins, 183 ERA, 107 WHIP. Uh, pretty stout numbers.
Yeah,
And then Michael,
I,
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, I'm actually surprised about him because Kyle Gibson is not known as a like as an ace of the team. Lately he's been struggling, and then he had a pretty rough season last year with the Phillies. You know, so
Yeah,
I'm actually surprised about him. I hope he keeps doing good because uh, the Orioles really do need him to perform like those numbers are showing right there.
yeah. I mean, they need all they can get. I mean, they're
Yes,
don't. I'm not saying that because they're bad. I'm saying that because they're in the AL East.
right, and
And
it's a pretty
in that yeah, in that division, man, you're always looking the best you can get, no matter if you're stacked with good guys or not.
right, right.
Um, so we'll see. Baltimore's another team that hey, watch out. Who knows?
Yeah,
Uh,
they got a
now this. Go ahead.
they got some pretty exciting prospects too that you can definitely got to be on the lookout for them and watch the
Yeah.
impact that they're gonna make in the big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
That's aside from Rutschman and Henderson and Hall. So keep your eyes out.
Yeah, for sure. For Baltimore. Round up third spot. Michael Kopech with the White Sox. 19.1 pitched, 29 Ks. That's a lot of strikeouts. Uh, 2 wins, 186 ERA, .57 WHIP. That's pretty good. That's a high strikeout count. That's a lot more than most everybody in the top five.
Yeah.
Rounding, go ahead. Yeah,
No, I was just gonna tell you that I'm actually surprised about him, to be honest with you, because he has a lot of issues as far as you know um walking people. I think that's his weakness. If he can cut down the walk rate, he can be so much better because his strikeout rate it's
yeah.
insane. He strikes a
Well,
lot of guys, but
to your point, the last 7 days he's only walked 3 batters. So that's
right.
probably why it has pretty good numbers.
Yes, yes. And if he can keep that momentum going, hopefully, the rest of the season, I think he can do pretty good. I think he's
Yeah,
gonna have a pretty good season because that's the only thing. I think that's his main weakness is basically the walks. That's what always has been killing him. He gives up 2 3 walks. Let's see, you notice a base hit, boom, you got
yeah.
you got a run or two. So
It don't take much, man.
no, it don't. Especially
Walk
now that you
one,
got
walk one. They take a base, and a base hit scores a run.
yeah, especially
You
now
know,
that you got bigger bases. You know,
yeah, yeah.
guys
A
are
lot,
running a
lot
lot
more
more.
people are stealing. Yeah, I don't blame
Yeah,
them. That's what the game needs. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're not going into rule changes today, but this is just a sidebar. They need it because people are getting active on the base pass. Yeah, it hurts your strategy and makes it a little harder to win. But from an entertainment standpoint, from me sitting in the stands, I want to see people on base. I want to see people steal. I want to see people steal over and then have a bang bang play at home, off a base hit. I mean, that's the kind of the things uh, that fans want to see. We don't care. It's hard enough to get a hit in baseball, anyways. I mean, you bat
right.
300, you get 3 hits out every 10 at bats, you go in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
and you're going to take two of those away from a shift. So, from an entertainment standpoint and from a fan standpoint, those rules this year are great. But
Y- Yeah, they're
um,
pretty awesome.
from a from a from a strategy standpoint on the team, it sucks because now you can't, like these guys who pull hitter, you can't take them. You can't. They're getting on base. But all that aside, if we're not enjoying it in the stands, then they're not playing the game. So,
Right.
just learn to deal with it. It is what it is. They made the bases bigger. People are stealing. People are getting on base more. Uh, that's that equals exciting, exciting things, which keeps people involved in watching and going to the games.
We're basically right back to old school baseball.
Yep, yep. I mean, they should have never let that shift thing go on. Really. I mean, because let me tell you,
No,
dude, with the shift, I watched some damn boring games, and like I
you
was
know,
like,
I,
I'm done with it. I've been to a couple boring games too.
and I think it kind of takes away from the game because it it takes the fun out of everybody. I'm sure the player were not having fun out there. Every time they thought he got a hit and he gets robbed, they were like, come on now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I'm pretty sure
yeah,
they're not enjoying it as well.
yeah, um, and it brought in the whole idea that strikeout or go long. Like I feel like it brought in the idea that strikeouts don't matter. Because here recently, you take like Kyle Schwarber for example. I mean, dude hits like a 160, but he hits 40 bombs a year. But everybody loves him and they think he's a good player. But he hits like a 180. I mean, that's terrible. It's absolute
Yeah,
garbage. But when they shift, it didn't matter, because your hit would, you out of your three hits, two are taken away by the shift. So why not try to go long? You go long or strike out. Who cares?
that's a pretty good point. That's kind of like Joey Gallo does too.
Yeah.
He either hits a home run or he just doesn't do anything.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it may be better now, but when the shift is in play, uh, any hit that they may have got was taken away because they're not going opposite field. They're going to pull the
Right.
ball. I mean, it is what it is. And so any hard ground ball that would normally get through for a base hit was taken away. So
Yep.
if you know you have a 3 out of 10 shot, if your chances are 3 out of every 10 to get a hit, but because now the shift is implemented, it's 1 out of 10. Why would you not try to make that one a homer? I'd be swinging for the fence every time.
Yeah.
Because a
If you're
strikeout is
gonna
just
make
as
it
good as a ground out.
right, and if you're gonna make it count,
Yeah.
make sure it count over the fence. That way, it counts as a hit, RBI, and a run at the same time.
Right. And in some cases, a homer is better than a ground out because if you got a guy on first, now you just grounded a double play into the inning. So strike
Right.
out or go long, whatever. Anyways, back to the stats. Let's power through this real quick. Miles Mikolas from St. Louis, 22 innings pitched, uh, 2 wins, 123 ERA, 6.68 WHIP. It's pretty good. I mean, that guy, he's not bad. He's uh he's not bad at all. So it's kind of what you expect out of him. Um, Rounding out the fifth is old Max Scherzer. He don't have the top spot anymore because he can't use the sticky stuff. You know what I'm saying? He, you
He's
know,
still putting up good
spider
numbers.
tag no more. He drops from 1 to 5. But yeah. Anyways, I was just making a joke. I mean, nothing to take away from Max. Max is one of the all-time greats. So with it or without it, whatever you want to call it, dude's a dog. He's good. 20 innings pitched, uh, 2 wins, .90 ERA, and 80 WHIP. He's only allowed 2 earned runs over 20 innings, so that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
not surprised about him at all.
who do? No, I mean the only thing that dude's got going bad for him is his age. I mean he's rounding up his career. He's only got a few years left. And then to be pitching as good as he is still at his age is pretty impressive. So,
Yeah, without
um,
a doubt.
but anyway, so that wraps up that wraps up the last 7 day stats. It's kind of how we're gonna do it the first part of the show, and then we're gonna head right on into the first topic, which Chris is gonna he's gonna lead y'all through that.
Um, yeah. So going back to the whole Julio thing, from earlier. So so Julio Rodriguez just partnered up with the Alaska Airlines. Um, you know, so basically, this is an article from uh, the Alaska Airlines. So starting this season, each time Julio launches the ball over the fence for a home run, number 44 is sending 44 fans to the Alaska airline destination of their choice with a round trip. Wherever Julio's home run lands, 44 fans sitting in that station will win. Belize, Hawaii, you name it, Julio could help you get there. And this is a quote from Alaska Airline marketing MD. So he says that he represents a new era of baseball and has already inspired so many people in Seattle community. He's a great partner for the Alaska brand. Now, my question is, what do you think about that?
What do I think about Julio and getting
About this deal?
that Alaskan airline deal? Oh, I mean
Yeah,
it's great. It's kind of groundbreaking. All right, so from what I can remember, any deal like of this magnitude has not happened before. I mean, usually companies I think just uh endorse and they might do some giveaways here or there, but as far as giving away free plane tickets round trip wherever you want to 44 fans with each home run they hit, I'm assuming this is I'm assuming is this just in Seattle? Because it doesn't say. It says every home run he hits. So if this
yeah.
is every game,
I think it's every home game in Seattle.
okay, so only Seattle.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. I mean, dude deserves it though. I mean, it's J Rod. He's going to be the face of baseball. He's marketable. Uh, he's a fun guy. Uh, I mean, why not? He's that's the youth. You know, you need to take advantage of that. These companies do, and that's what they're doing. And and I applaud Alaskan Airlines for doing it. I mean, like I said, it's the first of this kind, and it's well deserved to someone like him. That's that's that could get it done. I mean, he does bring people to the ballpark. People, I'm sure they saw a spike in their viewership. Uh, so
oh
so I
yeah. You
like
know
it.
the
You know, I'm spot on for it.
Me too. I think that that's what's gonna do is basically that section right there is gonna be sold out every time. You know, 'cause people are gonna be trying to catch home runs. Not only that, but it's also pretty exciting to see because it opened up new doors. That's just the first of you know many. I'm sure he's the first one, and I'm sure he won't be the last one either. So uh, I think it's pretty exciting to see that, along with his the way they structure his contract as well. I think it sounds like he has a lot of pressure on him because everything is basically incentivizing on how he performed. But you
You
know,
talking about his contract with Seattle?
right, and even with that deal right there, because that's every time he's a home run. I mean,
Yeah. So
what guarantees
and
you that you're gonna hit a home run on
yeah,
every at bat? So
yeah, yeah,
in a way, it puts, I wouldn't call it pressure, but it kind of it's kind of like a challenge, which I think a lot of players like him probably likes, and a lot of fans likes it because the more that he performs, the more you know fun it is to watch. So I
yeah,
think it's pretty good.
yeah, yeah. And it's going to sell tickets. And the thing with Julio, And I think I said this. There's a few in the league. Juan Soto being one of them. Acuna is going to be one of them. J Rod is one of them. It's that same group of guys. All right, it's those young guys that are exciting. They're good and they're the future of the sport. So one thing they have going for them is that they're more marketable than most guys. So
Yes.
he and I said this before. I think I've told you that he can afford. He doesn't want a dip in performance, but J Rod can afford a dip in performance because of how he's marketed and the hype behind him, and he gets people excited. So he's
Yes.
still going to get. Uh, say he does. Say maybe he's just above average, but he's not in superstar range. Say he just misses the superstar type stats and performance. He'll still get a superstar contract with Seattle or wherever he goes next because of the stuff he brings other than his performance on the field. Stuff like this. Stuff
Yeah.
like getting people in the fans in the stand. People are going to buy his gear. If he went over to uh, the San Francisco Giants right now, how many J Rod jerseys do you think they would sell? You think it would sell zero? You think it would sell a bunch?
I think I think I think there was a bunch.
Yeah, and that's anywhere he goes. So he comes with all that, which makes him, uh, worth more. So I don't think he should feel the pressure of having to perform top notch every night because he's kind of more locked in than normal guys. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And I mean
That's the
the guy is naturally talented, you know. So
yeah,
and like you say, he first, you know, month and a half or so, you know, he's been pretty cold lately, you know. But lately he's been picking it up, you know, and I think if he keeps, you know, having a couple of hot weeks from here until the All Star break, I think he can make the All Star break too. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, he'll be fine, man. He's got a bright future ahead of him.
yeah,
He's
he
already locked in with this Alaskan airline deals. There's no telling what else he'll get. But that right there, that deal is going to put people in the outfield. That's going to put people in their in Seattle seats. It's
yeah,
a free round trip wherever you want to go, international or domestic. So why wouldn't you gamble on a $50 ticket? $50 ticket in the outfield, and if he hits one in your section, then you have 44 chances to get picked on that.
right, right.
I would go, and I,
I
and
would
I
too.
would sit in the outfield. So
Yeah, you know,
be a
and
bunch of fans there.
of course, you know, and with that, you know, talking about marketing and you know, him having a good deal from Alaska Airline, you know, um, not shortly after, MLB and the Player Association kind of make an agreement and partner up to increase the marketing in players. So
Oh
this
yeah,
is another pretty interesting article that kind of ties into that one as well. So, uh, you know, so they form a new agreement designed to increase player marketing through league sponsors and third-party league relationships. The
yeah.
partnership
Just
gives
to be clear,
MLB.
the MLB formed that agreement with the Players Association, the Players Union, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So the partnership gives MLB the rights to grant its partners and advertisers use of MLB players in groups for ads and promotion. So the new agreement will increase players' right usage through a more streamlined process for third-party partnerships. Previously, sponsor will have to negotiate separate agreement with the league union and have the same rights. The more direct arrangement makes it easier for partners to unlock the powerful combination of MLB players, MLB, and the players' right in their national promotion, and that's through a MLB player source. Um, so yeah, kind of going back to the whole Julio and Alaska Airlines, you know, I think that this deal I think that this agreement it's pretty good because it benefits the player um, in the long way because it gives him more. So the goal for this agreement basically is to give the player more outlook. You know, have more promotion. I think it helps the league itself, and I think it helps the player more because you know Julio being sponsored by Alaska Airline and getting his own deals, now you got players like Aaron Judge going with somebody else. You got some international player getting a sponsor from their own country, and it gives them more exposure, more, more eyeballs, basically. So I
Mm.
think this benefits the player. I think it benefits everybody as a whole because you know for lack of a better term, baseball is still not a global sport, uh,
Yeah,
and recently has been getting more eyeballs. And this right here is just gonna help more because it's gonna allow MLB to partner up and and have players,
yeah,
in
yeah. And I mean,
advertisement.
and the part of it is trying to spread the game. Uh,
Right.
it's America's what is it? America's greatest pastime or best pastime.
Yep.
Uh, and I guess they're trying to make it not be, and they're trying to bring it back. Which a lot of don't get me wrong, a lot of people watch baseball. That's only in America. Um, like you said, these other countries, other than your coastal, like the Dominican and Puerto Rico, Cuba, stuff, places like
Right.
that, they're big into baseball. But baseball's not huge in Europe, in Britain, Africa,
Nope.
oh, anywhere other than here. South
Yep.
America, I guess it's kind of bigger in South America. Mexico's hopping on board, but yeah, I mean this could open it up, and the point is to drive the game and and try to get everybody enjoying it. The World Baseball Classic helps that out. You
Yeah.
know,
So
when you
I
start to
think,
get funding and pushing the game. So
and I think, I think that was probably one of the biggest drive to it. It was the World Baseball Classic because it gave a lot of eyeballs to the game. The World Baseball Classic has never been anticipated like, you know, this year was. So
yeah,
that's pretty exciting.
you got to give the classic a little more time too. It's fairly new. It's only been going. There's only been like 7 of them. So
In a
um,
20-year span, 23
yeah,
or so.
they're every 4 years. So, but in the future, each time, I think the WBC has gotten more viewership and more interest. And Rome wasn't built in a day, so it is a the games are just what they are. They're expedition games. So, but countries get on board. They like it, and it's gaining popularity. And I think that's why this year, it kind of paid off. And as we go forward, every 4 years, I think it'll be better. And I think these teams like Czech Republic and Great Britain and Australia's pretty good. I think they'll get more competitive because I think they'll start pushing their baseball programs in their countries, trying to be competitive for the World Baseball Classic, and that's kind of the point of it. You know, is to spread the game. So
Yeah, and I think they have players and some scouts and some people also trying to spread the game in Africa, um,
yeah, I mean it'll get there.
and and as well as India. So it's definitely
Okay,
still has a lot of room to grow.
yeah. Well, I guess let's jump into the next topic. How does the Orlando Brewers sound, or the Nashville Brewers, or the Salt Lake City Brewers? Any of those sound intriguing to you?
Nashville, for sure.
Nashville? Yeah. Well, we'll talk
Yeah,
about it. Let me American Family Field, the Brewers kind of got threatened by Rob Manfred, the commissioner of MLB, if you want to call it that. They had to do estimated $428 million in renovations. Now, what they don't tell you is the MLB has a standard for every ballpark, uh, and it trickles all the way down to to farm teams to minor league baseball. Sometimes that's the reason why minor league moves around is because the stadium they're in usually are old, historic. They fall out of the MLB standards, and the city they're in won't build them a new one. So that's kind of why uh, you see a lot of minor league teams are always they go somewhere, stay 10 years, and leave. Um, but the Brewers, I guess they're kind of getting to the point where they're out of the MLB standard. Now, 428 million is going to get it to the MLB standard and get it more family friendly and entertaining. So I don't know where the line is about how much it will cost to get it to the standard, but I know Milwaukee pretty much wants to do a whole. I mean, they built the thing for like 600 million, so they want to do a total upgrade, almost like a gut and a remodel, and make it up to date. Um, they're working with the state of Wisconsin. The governor over there proposed to pay 290 million as long as the Brewers would extend a 20-year lease. There in Milwaukee, but it didn't pass. I guess the state officials thought that the cities needed to pay, the city and the county, city of Milwaukee and whatever county that is, needed to foot some of that bill. I know the state had like 7.1 billion in reserve. They were just going to pay cash, but that didn't go through. So we don't know what's going to happen. I think everyone's on board to keep the Brewers in Milwaukee. Manfred, there was a rumor that Manfred mentioned the A's during this whole conversation, but he went back and verified that, his intention is to keep them in Milwaukee. Wisconsin wants them in Milwaukee. The Brewers want to be there. So I think they'll get a deal done at some point. They'll just have to sign that 20-year lease to get the funding from the state. It'll put them there until 2043. Then they'll be able to, build a new stadium or look elsewhere. Also,
yeah.
Let me side note on this. So, in the original lease that they're in, it actually holds the Southeast Wisconsin Professional Baseball District accountable for the routine maintenance. So they'll have some wiggle room there, or figure out, what goes on there. Because there again, all they're going to do is maintenance. They're not going to do upgrades per se.
Right, but you gotta. So, I think the deal is gonna get done because, like you mentioned, everybody seems like they want to stay in place, so nobody really wants to move. Um, and I think they shouldn't move. I think that they need to get a deal done, and I think it will get done. It's just, the question is who's gonna pay what, and who's gonna take care of the maintenance. So from what you said, it seems like so the city wants the Brewers to keep up with the maintenance. Now, how much is that gonna cost Milwaukee or the Brewers per
Well,
year just to keep up?
well, well. The original proposal is they want 428 million in renovations.
Right,
The government would pay 290.
right,
So kind of a little more than half. But that's not a lot more than half. But anyways, Milwaukee, the Brewers would have to cover the rest.
right. But now, how
So
much does maintenance cost a year for the stadium? Because that's
uh,
where kind of all the money was gonna add up the next 23 years or 20
well,
years.
the estimated cost off the 428 million figure is 21.4. But see, with that 428 million, that's just not maintenance. When they say maintenance, like Manfred is talking about, like the roof has to be maintenance, the
Right,
HVAC, that type stuff.
right.
Most of that
Groundskeeping.
428 million that Milwaukee wants is like to renovate, to like change the concourse, to make it basically redo the park. So that's where the fine line, I think, where the government's having a problem is they're asking for 428 million, but it's not just for maintenance. It's because they want to, at that point they might as well talk about building a new stadium. It's come down to that. Because the Southeast Wisconsin Professional Baseball District, per the lease that they're in, is supposed to pay for the maintenance, which would be like the HVAC, the roof getting fixed, like all the typical like building maintenance.
Right.
So
And like I said, so I'm on board with that. I'm on board with if the city pays, offer them like you said 290, and they cover the rest, and let's just say a year to keep up with it with the new renovation that they're gonna do.
yeah,
Um, I don't know, 4, 5, $6 million a year. Why not? It's worth it, you know. Um, and besides, with the new renovation, they're just gonna attract more people, more fans, and I'm sure, you know, prices of everything is not gonna be cheap either. So
yeah.
I think they won't have a problem with getting more fans in there, and I think they should do it. I think a deal needs
Well,
to get done.
they have a high. I didn't know this, but they have a high attendance rate already.
Right.
I mean, they're like,
So
I think they're like top 10 or top 15 in attendance in the league. So they they have a lot of people coming already.
right. So
And that's
that's
kind of
so fans are not an issue. Getting people to the stadium
no,
is not an issue. So the issue
no,
is basically all day old things back to new. And
right.
23 years is a long time. You don't want to see the same stuff. I don't know how long has it been since they renovated the stadium that they're in. It's probably
Well, they
been
haven't.
20 years.
Well, they built it 20 years ago.
Right.
It hasn't been
So
renovated yet.
you add another 20 years to it. That's 40 some year without nothing being done to it. So I think it's fair. I think it's fair for them to get. Now I'm not sure what they're trying to do and how much it's gonna cost them, but as far
Yeah,
as them trying to get things updated and get a deal done, I think it's fair. And if the city's offering to pay almost 60% of, even 65% of the cost, why not? Because but then
yeah,
again, the factor will be how much, what's the final number of the maintenance per year? How much is the Brewers are gonna spend,
yeah,
paying people, keeping up with things, the roof, like you said, groundskeeping, the
yeah.
HVAC,
It- And
all
and
that
so
shit.
and so kind of countering that, I guess there's two problems that their state legislations have because this is we're talking about the governor of Wisconsin and their whole state legislation. All right, they're the ones that the governor proposed the state of Wisconsin to pay 290. So I guess what the legislature's problem is that they think like the city of Milwaukee's government and the county government over Milwaukee should pitch in, which would make the state divide 290 by three essentially is what they're saying. Because
Okay.
Milwaukee, the city
Okay.
of Milwaukee is going to benefit from it. You see what I'm saying? So it's three different
Right.
governments. But then the other issue runs into is what's maintenance and what's renovation. All right. And what do they want to pay for? Does the government want to pay for renovation? Like, do they want to pay for a new team shop? That's not maintenance. That's just renovating to something new. Do they want to build a new restaurant in there or knock out the concourse to make it more 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 people friendly or more friendly in 2020 or 2024? That's not maintenance. That's you see what I'm saying? That's a
Yep.
renovation that they want to do. So it depends on um what I think that's their biggest problem is are we going to pay for renovations or are we going to pay for maintenance? Because maintenance would be like fixing the roof, fixing the HVAC, fixing the drainage, fixing the sewage, um, things like that. That would be
Right.
maintenance. So this 428 million is maintenance and renovations. So that's kind of where the problem is that the
Okay.
government's running into.
So
Right.
basically, they just got to talk to each other and divide what's what, and then come up
Right.
with a number and go from there.
Because they're going to say, the government's going to say it's not fair for the taxpayers to pay for you to renovate it just so you can make more money or draw more people to the park. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're
Right.
going to say that we'll help you maintenance it. and keep it up to date where it's not derelict,
Right.
kind of like Tropicana. But so that's kind of where they're at with it. So we'll see. I mean, they're going to get a deal done. They're not leaving Milwaukee. Don't worry about that. It just,
No, no, I don't think
you
they
know,
are.
they it's always when you talk about tax-paying dollars for sports stadiums, it's always weird. People get weird. Some people are for it. Some people are against it. Some people don't care. So we'll see. There's always going to be naysayers, but at the end of the day, they're
Yeah.
not leaving. I have
Right.
no doubt they're not leaving.
No, not at all. And I'm
Uh,
sure the owner doesn't
no,
want to leave either. If
no.
they're getting
I mean,
almost every night, you know, the stadium full.
they want to keep them there. There's not anything in Wisconsin. There's the Brewers and the Packers. You know,
That's
they
it.
don't want to lose. They don't want to lose either one of them. The
They
Packers
also
will
got
never
beer and
leave.
cheese.
Yeah,
They
they
also
got
got
beer
beer
and
and cheese.
cheese, but yeah. So I mean, that's that's their two pro teams. They don't want to lose either one of them. They'll they'll get it figured out. I
Yeah.
have no concern at all. I just thought it was interesting. It breaks down to 21.4 million a year.
Yeah.
If you spread that 428 across 20
20 years.
years,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think they got plenty of time because they got until what 2023, I think, to figure it out or to come up with a deal. So they got plenty of time.
Yeah.
I think probably threatening to move the team. I think is way too early for that. It's
Oh
not.
no.
It's not
Yeah.
there like there's a rush for them to get a deal. You know what I mean? So I think
I,
that
I,
might have
I,
been a little overboard.
yeah. The rumor mill. You got a team moving now, uh, in Oakland, and no one has moved since like the 50s or
Right.
whatever. Since like 58 or whatever. I think the last team to move was
Um,
the Braves out of Milwaukee, I believe. They moved in the late 50s, which they also
yeah.
had a World Series in the 50s. But anyways, yeah, they so it's kind of new and timing's weird. Just as the A's are finishing up funding deals with Nevada because they blasted one through and they're going to be right there on the strip. That stadium's going to be crazy. That whole setup. Look for stuff to come from the A's because they're going to have support. They're going to have money. They're going to have it all when they
Yeah.
get to LA, and that's going
And
to be
I,
exciting because it
and
is on the strip, right there with all the casinos.
yeah, it's gonna look pretty sweet. I don't know if you've seen a kind of one of those like preview designs that they got of what it's gonna look like, and it's gonna look pretty
Yeah,
nice. I think
yeah.
that their strategy for now is try to get prospects. Probably try to. They might, one of the players that they got right now that is hot. It's Brent Rooker. They might try to
Mhm.
trade him, try to get something from him.
Yeah.
One of
Uh,
those
they'll,
top 100 prospects.
uh, they'll be a work in progress for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
they
for
they
sure.
won't the first year they won't hit, but you get them there and it'll be a new stadium on the strip. I'm sure it'll be state of the art. I mean, it's in Vegas.
Yeah.
You either go big or you go home. So it ain't going to
Yep.
be no slouch stadium. It's going to be, I'm sure. I mean, have you seen the Raider Stadium? That thing is unreal. So I'm sure it's going to be something similar. It's probably going to be hard to get a ticket. They're probably going to be sold out you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
this for a fact because I've been to Vegas, but they just recently got sports teams, and man, they those people in Vegas are about the Knights and the Raiders, the Golden Knights and the Raiders. They are serious, like they are, like they bring their merch to town, they buy it up. When I went to Vegas, there was Raider stickers everywhere, Golden Knight stickers everywhere. You go in the casinos, they're selling all the merchandise in the casinos. It's unreal, man. The support they have, their professional teams have in Vegas is pretty impressive. I
Hey,
mean, I
I
guess
have a
that's because they haven't had one for a long time, or they've never had one until now.
right. And with that being said, I got a quick prediction. Look
All
for
right.
Bryce Harper playing for the Vegas
Oh,
A
he's
once that
because
deal is done.
he's from Vegas.
Right. So I think
Yeah.
they might have a pretty good team, and I think him going back home
You
is
think?
gonna bring. Yeah, yeah, I think it will.
Who else is from Vegas? Somebody else is. Some other star. Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant's from Vegas, I think.
Yeah, and he's not that
He
far
is.
from it either.
No, no, I don't know, man. I I think Bryce is in love with Philly. I think that World Series or going to the World Series last year and all
I
uh,
think he is, but I think
kind of sealed his deal in Philly.
I think once the deal is done, right before he retired, he's gonna go back to Vegas and play one more season
Oh
and call
yeah,
it quits. Just kind of last
yeah,
one last
yeah. I mean,
hoorah.
yeah. I mean, I can see that. I mean, I'm going to go to a game. I can already tell you. Um, I want to go. I don't know if it's the last year in Oakland or not, but I need to make it out to the Coliseum in Oakland to finish up my stadium tour. But I'm definitely going back to Vegas to go to to an A's game. I mean, I can
It's
only
something.
imagine, man. Like I said, that thing is on the middle of the strip. They tore down a casino. I forget the name of it. Um, they tore down a casino on the strip to put that ballpark in. All right,
Yes,
so it's going to
it's gonna
be
be pretty sad.
it's going to be an exciting deal for sure. Um,
So speaking about the Oaklands and their prospect and their future, what so who do you think is gonna make it up to the show next? What prospect do you
who's
think
going to
is gonna
make
be
it to
up
the
next?
show? I can already tell you he's coming Friday, and that is Walker, right, with the Cardinals.
That's to date.
Oh, today's Friday. Yeah, it is Friday. Yeah, I was talking like it wasn't Friday. Yeah, he's today. So that's who's making it.
Yeah,
Outside of him, man, my boy Ellie's hot.
yeah,
My
yeah.
boy Ellie's hot. I don't know if he'll make it. He's still in Double A, right, with Louisville Bats, or is that Triple?
I think it's triple. I'm pretty sure it's triple A.
Yeah, the Bats are Triple. Yeah, he's crushing it. Some of those bats, some of those homers he hits have been out of this world. He's hitting 304 with a 1039 OPS, 10 homers,
Yes,
and that's in 32 games. I mean,
yes. The
all the,
dude is.
I don't know what it's going to take to get him up to Cincinnati, but I'm sure it'll be soon.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot about that needs to get covered as far as him. There's a lot of Cincinnati has a lot of good players that
Yeah,
they can bring up right now and can make a big impact. They've just brought up Matt McLean, and he's making a huge impact so far. So
yeah,
the only issue thing that they're having right now is the fact that they both play the same position, which is shortstop. And
yeah,
from what I read per this uh, minor league baseball source, is that they've been playing. So Ellis has been playing third base, I think, since the beginning of of the season. So that means that you know you're gonna have Jonathan India in second base. You're gonna have Macman Lane in shortstop, and you're gonna have Ellie De La Cruz at third base. So
yeah,
you know, and along with that, they also have Christian Encarnacion Strand, which is another guy that is killing it right now in AAA. I mean, you
yeah,
look at his stats. The dude is hitting 14 home runs, hitting 345, 36 RBIs. He
mm-hmm,
has you know, an
yeah,
over 1100 OPS. I mean, the dude
yeah,
is so
crushing. Yeah,
yes. So you bring those two guys
Jordan
up.
Jordan Westberg looks good.
Yeah,
Hey, speaking of the Reds, man, I'm glad they're filled with talent. I'd like to see the big red machine again. which
Yeah,
actually I never saw them because they were, I think that they were in the 80s. But I'd like to see it for the first time. There's a lot of history there in Cincinnati, man. They've had some good teams in history, and
yeah,
and I went to Great American Ball. I had the chance to go. Really cool park, right there on the river. Uh, Pretty cool city, and they have the support. It's just that they haven't been good,
right.
unfortunately. Their setup is fun. I mean, they're kind of like walkout stadium in a bar district, so it attracts people. They just got to get a product to put on. If they get a product to put on the field, they'll fill up the Great American Ballpark. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that product is gonna be Elliot Cruz for sure. He's gonna
Yeah,
bring.
yeah,
He's the product that's gonna bring the people in.
yeah.
Um,
You look at what the Bengals did, man. I mean, them dudes they got Joe Burrow in and Jamar Chase, and they put together a pretty good squad in the Bengals, and they started selling out. I mean, the Bengals used to be garbage. I mean, I remember when Joe Burrow was at LSU and Cincinnati had the first pick because he's from Ohio, and they were talking about Joe Burrow was talking about that he would turn the Bengals down because he wanted to win, and he didn't think the Bengals their front office would get him and then get pieces in place to win. So he was
right.
like, yeah, they'll probably take me first pick, first round, but I'm gonna turn them down. That's kind of the reputation the Bengals had with Cincinnati. It's just you know, hey,
Right.
it's Cincinnati. Who cares about Cincinnati? They're not in it to win it. They just got a team. And the Reds are kind of the same way right now.
And
But
I,
if they
I
get a
think those are
product, go ahead.
no, and I was gonna say those are teams that are uh, as they say in the league, they're basically low budget. They don't go out and spend the money. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're
they're
small market teams for sure.
yes.
Yeah. But hell, Houston
So
Astros is a small market team. Look at what they've done the last 7 or 8 years.
yeah, you're
They
right.
consider them. I mean, a large market team is like Atlanta, which I don't even. I think they consider Atlanta a mid market team. But your big
They're,
market teams are like Boston, uh,
yeah,
New
Boston, New
York,
York, Mets,
probably
both of them.
L.A. Yeah,
Yep.
both the New York
Uh,
squads. Not even the L.A. Angels. I don't know. You'd be surprised. There's probably a lot of people in L.A. that like the Angels. We're just on the East Coast, so the Dodgers come to mind because it's American
um,
League Baseball.
yeah.
Um,
The Cardinals are also considered as big
a big
budget.
market team. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So those are your
So
big budget teams. But I mean, who knows, man? I mean, they got if they put a squad together, there's no doubt Cincinnati will back them, and I'd be
yeah,
excited for that. Any kind of competition. To be the best, you got to beat the best. So
right,
if you got a lot of good teams out there and you can beat them, then you know that you're really good.
right.
So
And like I said, they got a pretty bright future. They're pitching. They're good with
yeah,
pitching. There's
yeah,
they got Hunter Greeny, they got Nick Dololo, and they got a few other guys. And I think one of their probably weakness might be their bullpen. That might be the
yeah.
only hole that they're gonna have. But other than that, they're
They'll
fine.
they can feel it though. I mean, they're not built to compete this year, but all that stuff takes time. But they'll get there. But yeah, I mean, Ella Dela Cruz. There's some other guys that are good. The one we want to talk about right now that's hot is Acuna Jr. Baby Ronald, old Ronald. Could he go
Yes.
40 for 40 this season? Just so you know, he's hitting 324 this year, 11 homers, which is a little low. I mean, I guess it's not that low, but it's to hit 40, he's probably gonna have to get on a streak here. He's gonna have to get on a tear and hit some more. 31 RBIs, 23 stolen bases already. So he's taking a lot of bags. His WAR this year is 3.0, so he's playing good. A year back from the injury, uh, making an MVP run. That's MVP run. That's what the people said he was gonna do. So far, stands true to it.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean, if he
he's
keeps up this pace, he'll be MVP. No, it won't even be close. Really.
yeah. And there's a fun fact about about him. With you know, so he's basically on pace for all of this, right? Which is insane. So he's in pace for having a 30-30 season, which
Okay.
has been done 65 times by 43 players. You know, the last player that did that?
Old Cedric.
Yes, sir.
Cedric with Baltimore.
Yeah. So, he's also, then they're also the possibility of going for 40 for 20, which means 40 home runs, 20 stolen bases. Last, has been done 33 times by 22 players,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
last two that done it.
the last one may have had a little help. I don't know. You tell me.
Nah, that was all. He's all good, man.
I don't know. You tell me, man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Good
throwing a
old
joke out
Fernando.
there, man.
Uh, Shoot, I can debate that all day. Um, so in 23, there's no player in pace for these numbers. You ready?
Yeah.
30 for 40, meaning 30 home runs for 40 stolen bases. Last player that
Yeah.
did that?
The last one to do it almost made it in the 30 and 50.
Uh, yeah,
He was
good
in
old
2012. He was one base short of the 30-50 club.
right,
All he had to do was still one more.
which it has only been done by two players. The
Yeah.
last one,
But which one, a 30-40 or a 30-50?
the 30-50.
No. Barry Bonds?
Yes, sir. Good old Barry. So
Oh, Barry.
then you put him in. So this is what has never happened. 30
Oh,
for 60, 30 home runs, 60 stolen bases. So
yeah.
Acuna is in pace pretty much for all of this. You know, um, and that's in 2023. He's in pace for which has never been done. 30 for 60, 40 for 50, 50 for 30, meaning 50 home run, 30 stolen bases, which my try could have done that. Um,
Well, yeah, he did. He did 30. Yeah, he would have been 30 homers, 50 stolen bases. Yeah. Which
right.
that's who I was talking about on the 30-40 club, Mike Trout with the Angels in
Yeah.
2012. That was his first year up. He took 49 bags that year.
Yeah.
Uh, dude was a stud. It was his first. He came up in 11, sent back down, came back up, played all year in 12.
Yeah. The guy's
And that
never
year,
overrated.
huh?
He's never overrated.
Oh no, I mean that dude is still performing, and he's got a chronic back issue. He played 120 games last year, hit 40 home runs. I mean, whatever. He don't steal bases no more. I mean, I'll give you all that. If you don't think he's the best in the game, okay, but he don't steal bases. But neither does Aaron Judge. Y'all think he's
That's
the
fine.
best? He
I don't
don't
think he
take
needs.
bases.
I don't think he needs to. At this
No,
point in his career, I think he did
no.
that
I mean,
enough.
yeah, I mean, yeah. He took almost 50 his first year in. Now, he last year he probably stole like 5. I mean, he really doesn't take bases anymore.
Which
I don't
is
know why, but
a good thing. He probably doesn't want to hurt himself in him even more. He already
yeah,
has a back issue. You don't want to add something
yeah,
to that. So
yeah. And you're right. Play that longevity role. Kind of
right,
take what you get. I mean,
right,
let's be honest, LA, and it's unfortunate. I really feel for Mike Trout, which is two ways because he did sign the contract. But I really
yeah,
feel for Trout going to LA and having the career he has, and he's kind of been overshadowed because he hasn't been on a good team. He'll always
yeah,
be that. Mike Trout was the best ever to do it, but he played for the Angels, who could never get over 500 or make the playoffs.
right.
You know,
Which
kind
is
of.
it's just crazy. Now, do you think Shohei is gonna stay there after this season? I hear
It depends on how
rumors
much
that
they give him.
he might be wanting to get traded. So I guess it's all gonna depend how good of a season they're having or how close they are to being contenders. I don't think they're that far
Uh,
out from the playoff so
I don't
far.
think Otani will stay unless they offer him something stupid. I mean, they chalked up Nash offered Trout a lot, so they might do it. Otani's a whole different animal though. I mean, don't get me wrong. Trout is Trout. He sells jerseys. He's not a real exciting, personable guy. I mean, the dude just shows up and does his job very well
and then goes
every
home.
time he comes, and he goes home. And that's about as exciting as Trout gets. So one thing he lacks is the personality aspect. The
Yeah,
thing that Otani has over him is the international aspect. We
right.
went to Baltimore and saw the Angels there. Uh, Baltimore versus Los Angeles last year in Baltimore. And let me tell you, dude, that place was filled up, and there was uh, a whole lot of people there from a whole lot of different backgrounds, and a lot of them were wearing Otani jerseys. So,
You know,
so he
eh,
brings that to the table.
right. And I think
So,
that's kind of like going back to the whole marketing thing we were talking about earlier. It's just gonna
yeah,
open up the door even more for all
yeah.
these players. So
I don't know how I'll let Otani out of there. I'm not huge on the Otani train, but I mean he is good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's very unique. What he does is unique from anybody else in the game.
what team do you see that he fits the best?
He'll go big money. One of those big market teams. When I say
I
big
hear
market teams, I'm not even talking about St. Louis. He'll go New York, Boston, or to the Dodgers.
I hear
One of
Dodgers,
the threes. The Dodgers, I could
but
see it
I don't
because he's
think he
already
fits in
there in
any of them.
LA. Huh?
I don't think he fits in any of them.
Where do you think he fits then?
That's a good question. I think I can see him in I can see him in a place like Seattle for some reason. You know?
There's history in Seattle, man. I don't know why people sleep on Seattle. Um, I mean,
So
Griffey Jr. was there, Ichiro Suzuki, and
yeah,
that might be why you see him in Seattle because Ichiro
right.
is
You
because
know.
Ichiro's coaching for him, ain't he? For
Um
Seattle.
yeah, he's like a some like
Yeah,
a special advisor or something like that.
yeah. I guess I could see him in Seattle just because of Ichiro and the history between Seattle and in Japan and all that stuff with Ichiro
Right.
being
And
there. I could see him in
and now
Seattle.
and not only that, but they also, like I said, they got a good team. They got Julio, they got George Kirby, they got,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
Bryce Miller, um,
yeah, oh
they
yeah,
got Teoscar Hernandez. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
they,
they're a contender.
yeah,
They're,
Luis
and
Castillo.
you put Otani on there, and yeah, they'll contend for sure.
Yeah. So, which
So
and I don't think the Angel has a bad team right now this year. I just think they don't have a whole lot of luck. I think if they try to make some move here and there during during the trade deadline, I think
yeah,
they can make a push for it for sure.
yeah,
So I think they definitely have a shot. You know,
yeah.
they don't have a bad pitching.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, hopefully they'll do all right, but we'll kind of see where it goes. But yeah, I mean, Otani, unless the Angels throw up, you got to think too, man. Uh, I, I don't see Otani as a money guy. He's not real
No,
showy. So I don't think he cares about the money. I think he's going to care about uh, uh, he's going to care about where he wants to be. I think in probably in his culture too, his family and parents are probably going to be a big deciding factor. Kind of where I'm not saying that they'll probably tell him where to go, but I'm sure he'll discuss it, and all of them will. He'll probably
uh,
seek their advice. I imagine.
yeah, I think he will, and I think it's gonna be to like what was his favorite team growing up.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
not
he can
sure if
play anywhere.
I'm not sure if the Angels is that team because I only think that the Angel was the opening door of him getting into the states and playing big leagues.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
now, if the Angel was his favorite team, then he might just stay with them. Stick with them the rest of his career. But
Yeah, I mean, I doubt it though, because who was the Anaheim Angels' favorite team coming up? Probably just anybody in Anaheim. Okay.
right,
But I mean, I highly doubt he was, from Japan. I don't know. He may be. I could be talking like an idiot, but I highly doubt he was an international guy and he was going for the Anaheim Angels.
Now, what if the
Could
Angel goes out and picks up their Japan's uh, biggest star, Rocky Sasaki?
Oh yeah, the pitcher.
Yeah,
That's a few years away. He's locked into some kind of deal over there. He's still got another. He's not eligible to 26, I think.
yeah, that's a long time.
So, but he's young though. But the same with Otani. Well, no, Suzuki, Ichiro Suzuki. Ichiro Suzuki. He put up the numbers he did, which were great. But he came over. He came over to the states when he was like 27. Could you
Right.
imagine if that dude was here when he was 20? I mean, there's no doubt he would have been the best outfielder.
I think if he wouldn't rank first, he would definitely be top three in all time hits for sure.
Oh, he would have been first. There is no doubt in my mind. I mean, look where he stands now, and he come up in his late 20s. I mean, if he would have
Right.
come over and played, because I still think he played like 12 years.
Yeah, the guy was very durable.
So you add 10 more years to that, and you're talking about 22 years with the way he hit. And probably, honestly, when he came over, he was past it. He was at his prime or past or getting past it. He probably played better when he was younger.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
You know,
but anyways, there's no telling, man. I mean, Seattle's got a lot of history there. We'll see. I don't think he's a money guy, so he doesn't seem to be. I mean, he seems to be very traditional. Uh, I don't think I don't think money's going to sway him. I think he'll go where he wants to go and where he and his family want to go.
you think
And
San
I
Diego
think that's
can
huh?
persuade him? You think the
Who?
Padres can persuade him? San
Padres?
Diego? Yeah,
They even got the payroll for him?
they got the money. I don't know where they
Where?
get it from, but they got the money.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
I mean, even if they get him, you know, that's all that's all a pissing contest over there. What they're doing is not to me, and I could be wrong. They could prove me wrong this year or the next year to come. But the way they've assembled their roster uh, is not going to work for them. It'll probably get them to the playoffs and to the CS, but you got to have it takes more than just a bunch of stars to win a World Series.
yeah, yeah. At the end of
And
the day, I
we
don't
can
think.
prove that. We can prove that uh, from some of these teams in the past. I mean, the Dodgers. I mean, San Diego last year had all them stars. They didn't get past the CS. The Phillies took them out. You know, the Phillies of all people that didn't play that well. I mean, they
Right,
played good at the end when they had to, but all season they didn't. You look at the Dodgers for the last 4 or 5 years, dude. I mean, on paper, no one should ever beat them. They should have won every game they played. They got one World Series out of it in the shortened season.
right.
You look at the 90
So,
Braves team, 1990s Braves team, that 10 years, the Dream Team, uh, you know, uh, 7 of 8 years during the 90s, 7 of the years, Braves pitchers won Cy Youngs. I mean, they were stacked to the brim. They got one World Series out of it. So
right.
obviously, it takes more than just stars. It takes
Yeah,
chemistry and all those other things.
yeah. I agree with you there. You know, same thing
So
with the Yankees too. They're very notorious for that. You know, they
yeah,
haven't won the World Series since '09, and they just keep pumping money into it and pumping money into it. And
yeah. I mean, you get all the big stars that you want, uh, and
I don't know why,
but
but
you have to mesh as a team. You got to play as a team. People have got to have passion about that team and about the people they're playing with and the organization and all that. All that matters.
I think
And that's why Houston has been so good, is because they have a really good with Dusty Baker and their front office and those
he's
leaders
the
on those
goat.
teams, huh?
He's the goat.
Yeah, I mean they make it a place where players want to come and they I feel like they sincerely want to do their best every day they show up. And
Yeah,
they know that if they do their best, then good things will happen, and that's what they do. In San Diego, they're on a pissing match. They're all sitting in front of the mirror seeing who's got bigger arms. arguing about it. And my fucking arms are bigger. My legs are bigger. I hit the ball farther. I field it better. That's what they're doing in San Diego. They're not. But they could turn it around. All it takes is that little spark. They get that spark.
They could. Now, the only reason I want them to win.
Sure.
So the only reason I want them to win is because they never have one. They don't have a World Series on them.
No.
That's
who's the other team that doesn't?
Seattle.
See, that's the one. That's who I want to win.
Yeah, I think there's another one there. I want to say
Tampa.
I know the last one is it Tampa? No, it's not Tampa.
Yeah, it is.
For the Rays?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. Because I know the last one was the Washington Nationals, and they finally won.
Now, was that including the Expos or no? Because the Nationals has only been there since 12, I think, or 09. They've only been there since 09.
Really?
Who, the Washington Nationals?
Yeah.
Yeah. 09 or 05, one or the other. I think it was 09. No, it was 05. Sorry. Montreal, though, is where they came from. They moved that franchise from Montreal Expos down to Washington Nationals. But, the Rays didn't come online until 98 in the expansion.
Yes. So.
And they haven't won one.
So those teams are Seattle, San Diego, Milwaukee, Texas Rangers, Rockies, and Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah. Because Colorado came in 98 too.
Yes.
Tampa, Colorado, and Arizona, I believe, came in 98.
Yep.
Yeah, in that expansion era. It's hard to believe Milwaukee don't have one.
It is. I'm not. So last time they were in the World Series game was in 1982.
Yeah. Maybe they need to move that stadium out of Milwaukee.
But Seattle has never appeared in a World Series, never. So
Seattle, yeah, they haven't really. Yeah.
So I think for them it's right around the corner. I don't think it's gonna take.
Well, they're for sure building something. They'll be there. So. They're close. Problem is, a lot of teams are close right now.
Right.
And unfortunately, you take. Yeah, you take from what I just said about, the bond, the passion, and you can tell by that from Atlanta in 21 and Philadelphia last year. Both those teams weren't that good, but the one thing they had was they had passion and they all wanted to win. They all got along, and they all cared, and everybody was in it together. And that eventually is what took Atlanta all the way there, and that's what took Philly there. Now they run into a really good Astros team. That's been they've been itching for a while, and they have a lot bigger chip on their shoulder because of the whole trash can scandal. So when you run into a team like that, they have that same passion and all. They just happen to have better players.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
And
now, going into another topic. To our final topic before we go out with the standing and wrap it up for the day. Have you heard of San Diego Padres and their broadcast deal?
A little bit, not really. I know Bali went bankrupt, and I don't think they're not making the payments to the teams like they promised. They bought the rights to which the teams make money off of, and that
Right.
I know like in January or whatever, right before the season started, maybe it was March, somewhere in there, the payments come due and they defaulted. So I know Atlanta is getting close. If they're not already turned over to the MLB, I think they're all going to be. But what's
So
going
I'll
on with
be
the
reading.
Padres?
So I'll be reading a little bit into it, and this is a ESPN source, right? So this was a couple days ago, but it says beginning today and continuing on perpetuity, MLB will take over the Padres local broadcast. It's a major transition, but fans are not expected to miss any games. They will be available through the league's MLB TV app initially for free and through various cable companies on different channels. MLB have been anticipating something like this for months. So they cut it. MLB cut a deal with several cable companies like DirecTV, AT&T, Uverse, Cox, and Spectrum to air the Padres through their services. And then
Gotcha.
MLB initially eliminated territorial rights through those deals, which means that for local fans who purchase the Padres MLB TV package, stream San Diego games will no longer be subject to blackouts.
All right,
So
bingo.
yeah,
Let me stop you there. That's where the money is. All right. So, and I can tell you from being an Atlanta fan, and see, I'm spoiled because Ted Turner on the Braves and he on Turner South. Well, Turner South used to be included with any package that you could ever get at any cable company. It didn't matter. Turner South was in there. So for me growing up, I watched a Braves game every day. Like every day they played, they were on TV on Turner South. So when all that happened and they went under Bali and separated this whole streaming deal, TV deals that I never had to deal with before until here recently in my life, that was my biggest complaint. Was well, I bought I bought MLB the ticket or whatever, and I can't watch the Braves. All right, so you had to buy ML because it's local, so they want you to buy Bali. So you'd have to spend $100 a year or whatever it is on MLB ticket, and then turn around and pay $100 a month for 1,000 channels, and I only wanted one of them. The only one I
right.
wanted was Bali Sports South to watch the Braves. All that other crap, I don't care nothing about. So, what did
You
I
know,
do? I ain't watched a Braves game really in like a long time on
you know,
TV
and
because I'm not going to do it, and that's like most baseball fans.
I
So,
don't think I think you're not the only one in the same boat. Like we were talking about the other day. There's you pay for MLB TV, for the app to be able to watch game and stream them. So you're paying 130 bucks a year or whatever, how much it is per season, and you can't even watch some of the game because they're
yeah,
blacked out. So it's like, so then why are you paying that for? Now I
right,
get that apparently the team loses money because they're not generating any money based on uh, the deal, but it benefits the fan as a whole. So what San Diego is doing, or MLB rather say, so they had it for free for I think they had it for free for about I think it was about I think it was about 5 days that they had it for free before
yeah,
they started charging people. So
okay.
So
Well,
it's gonna cost from here on out if people want to see any San Diego game like locally, it will cost them $20 a month, basically 19.99 a month or
yeah,
75 bucks for the rest of the season, and that's to be able to watch the games on the MLB.TV.
yeah, but
But now the only good thing about it is that if you're already paying for MLB on cable through those cable companies, whether it was AT&T or DirecTV, you don't have to pay it. Kind of like what you were talking about with Sports South and
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
Braves.
yeah, because it's
So
in the package. Yeah,
right, so that's a good thing, and I think
yeah.
I think it, like I said, I think it benefits everybody, and San Diego is not the only team going through the same issue. Um, you got the Texas Rangers, the Arizona Diamondbacks, you got um, the Minnesota Twins, uh, the Cleveland Guardians, and like you mentioned, the Braves. So they're not
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's all of them. Bali pretty much took over. Really, yeah. They're either with Bali or they have their own setup. Like if you go
right,
into like New York, they got SNY. Like they've got their own. Chicago has WSN. They have their own networks, uh, kind of like Atlanta used to have. But other than those big market teams, they're pretty much all with most of them are with Bali.
right.
So this
But
is good. This is good because uh, you're trying to grow the game, but you're making it very difficult and making it expensive to to do it for the fans. If they're worried about that and money and less profit, then they need to do one mega deal with the MLB and profit shared over all the teams.
well, the thing
That
is, if
solves that problem.
if you want to make, if you want to make money and you want people to be able to see the games live, because see, for me personally, I don't like seeing rerun games.
No, no, it's
If a
live. Yeah,
game,
I don't even watch
yeah,
reruns.
yeah, if it's done, it's done. I don't even watch it. I only watch the
Yeah,
highlights because
look at the
why?
box score.
Right, that'll tell you everything.
Tell you
So,
everything you need to know.
so, and MLB has been fighting with the MLB Player Association and trying to get deals
Yeah.
done and trying to change the
Mhm.
rule to make the game more viewable, more better. And why have the blackouts if you're gonna, if you
Yeah.
if you're making all
Yeah.
this tension, why are you gonna have blackouts?
I don't disagree with you. It's just something
So,
that it's something a part of the baseball that got out of hand, and they need to reel it back in. The
right,
MLB let it. Unfortunately, they chase the dollar, and the teams chase the dollars, and it's getting out of hand. And I'm almost certain that all baseball or a lot of baseball fans will tell you that they don't like it because a lot of us because a lot what Bali is offering, they're too expensive to go on streaming services. Essentially, that's what's happening for ball for kind of how it works. If a
and I
streaming
think
service is interested in carrying Bali's channels, they go to them and they have to pay Bali to have them on their network. Okay, and Bali is too expensive, and for a lot of these streaming companies, it's more than they want to pay, and they can't come to a deal on a monetary amount, and Bali doesn't give because they got so much other crap that they can lose money on it. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And so they don't give. So then they're only offered on the big names like DirecTV, AT&T, Dish Network, which nobody has anymore. Everybody has a streaming service, and
right,
nobody and those big DirecTV, AT&T, none of that shit's cheap. Their basic package is $100 a month, and
at
that's
least,
why nobody has them anymore.
right. And like I said, cable is dying out. So
Yeah,
cable,
so
it's running out of there.
it's
And
a mess.
with MLB running their subscription as they do, um, you know, they charge what $130 per season with
Yeah,
blackout against, so why not absorb, if not give the rights to the teams like the Yankees do it.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Yankees do their own thing. The Boston do their own thing. I think there's several others that also do it,
Well, the
and they
problem,
benefit from it.
yeah, but the problem is that you got to have money to make money. You
Right.
know,
Which I
so
get it,
they
but
fund
like
that. So smaller teams like Milwaukee, Atlanta could do it, but like Milwaukee and Tampa and Kansas City, Cincinnati, they're not going to want to front that big bill.
but
That big bill to build the infrastructure and all the jobs and all they have to do to
but
stream it. That's why they would
here's
rather
the
partner
thing.
with Bali.
Here's how they will pay for it though. MLB, they charge $130. Okay, why not charge $200? You know, per season or for 12 or for the whole year, 12 months, which is $16 a month. Or they can even do, I don't know, 120. I mean 220, and it'll be 20
Yeah,
bucks
they'll
a
do
month.
a monetary amount.
Right.
Yeah,
And that way it can cover for, like you said, do like a profit share from those subscriptions through
yeah,
everybody,
the
through whoever's under
yeah, and
their umbrella.
Yeah. The problem with that is they would probably make it a whole entire MLB thing, and then those other teams would have to get rid of their deals. And it would be like an entire MLB, all teams, and profit share that way. I don't know. They'll figure it out. I mean, there's colleges that do it. There's a lot of people that mess with TV rights and network deals. They'll get something. The only thing that they need to be worried about is they need to have the consumer in mind, because we got in the position where we're in today because the consumer wasn't the top priority. The money was. And that goes for
Right.
the teams too. You know, Atlanta signed into these deals bringing home a jackpot. So it's like everybody with baseball involved. And that's what they need to. Everybody needs to get together. All the teams, all the owners, all MLB. They need to figure out a deal that are good with consumers. Because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, um, they're only up there because of us.
Right.
If we don't go to games, if we don't buy gear, then their life cease to exist.
Like I
And
said, if
they need to
I
keep
know,
that in mind for their fans. So
I know the thing is that they always, a lot of things too is with these companies and teams and everybody out there with the business. Every year or
yeah,
every quarter has to be better than the last one. It
yeah,
has to be better than the last one. But if you take care of your consumers or your customer, they're gonna take care about you. Why? Because they're gonna spend more, either by going to more games, buying more stuff, uh, you know,
right,
purchasing more items. So it's
right,
kind of like a game of rubric. It's all gonna fall into place if you take care of your uh, consumers and customers. So
yep. Well, on that note, we'll wrap it up for the day. I mean, I think we did pretty well. Y'all don't forget we have social medias out there. We have Instagram at the Grand Slam Show, Facebook the Grand Slam Show. Uh, Actually, Insta is Grand Slam Show. Facebook is the Grand Slam Show. Our YouTube is at at THA Grand Slam Show. Twitter is at Grand Slam Show. Y'all be sure to add us, drop a like, subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. Communicate. We kind of want to breed an environment here where everybody's welcome. We want to kind of feel like y'all are in the conversation with us.
yeah,
And
we want to hear your thoughts and opinions on every topic that we go over and
yeah,
see what perspective everybody has on it.
yeah, and as we get along, we'll get better. Uh, Me and Chris will get better at being hosts. We'll also get better on the production standpoint because we have some things coming. I think we're going to rebrand a little bit with a new logo. We got overlays coming. We got a lot of exciting things in the future. So as we go, our goal is to make the next one better than the last one for the first 10. We're gonna do 10. I mean, we're gonna do a lot more than that, but on the first 10, we're gonna go back when we're done and watch each one. And as long as we made steps in the right direction and it's better, then me and Chris I'm happy. I'm sure Chris is happy too.
Yes, 100%.
Um, so it's a work in progress. Just to give y'all some insight, if you're still in watching, this is only our third time. Well, no, second time doing this. Um, so like I said, as we go, get more experience, things will get better, and we'll kind of zero in on the formats and we run a little long today. Hour and 40 minutes. We kind of got to keep it as an hour. So I know little things like that will get better as us not stumbling as much and not taking a lot of time and
Speed
kind of
running
just
through things.
get to the point, go on to the next thing. Because I know 2 hours is a lot of time. So, uh, but anyways, yeah, add us on social media, drop us a like, subscribe to the channel. Every Friday, 2:30, we'll be going live We're going to drop an occasional YouTube video in there every now and again. Chris is going to be your voiceover master. He's going to give you a lot of information on those YouTube videos, let you know what's going on. There's no telling what they'll be about. Probably just big name stuff. A lot of important information that people want. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. Did you enjoy it today, Chris? Thought we did pretty well.
Yeah, it was pretty good, man. Like I said, or like you said, uh, you know, this is our second time, so we're just trying to get better as it goes. And like you said, let us know how we did. Drop a like, subscribe, and tune in for the next time.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, drop a like, subscribe, let everybody know we're out here. We're trying to do this thing, having a good time with it. All right. We'll see y'all next Friday.